Deep in the heart of a sprawling, vibrant forest, there lived a tortoise named Oliver. Oliver wasn't the fastest, the bravest, or the most clever of the forest creatures, but he was steady, thoughtful, and always a little curious. One sunny afternoon, while basking near the edge of the clearing he called home, something caught his eye. A glimmer of sunlight bouncing off a particularly shiny pebble. Intrigued, Oliver decided to follow the light, one slow step at a time. Before he realized it, he had wandered far from familiar ground. The canopy above grew denser, the sounds of the forest seemed louder, and the path behind got swallowed in shadows. Oliver froze. For the first time in his life, he wasn't sure where he was. Panic bubbled in his chest. Home was somewhere very far away, but turning back felt impossible. The forest now looked like an endless sea of green with no signs to guide him. He gulped, tucked his head into his shell for a moment of comfort, and whispered to himself, "I can find my way back. I just have to try." As Oliver ventured further into the uncharted forest, he met his first obstacle, a rushing stream, its waters sparkling under slivers of sunlight. Tortoises weren't great swimmers, and the water looked fierce. How was he, with his heavy shell, supposed to cross? He sat beside the stream, pondering his problem, when a dragonfly settled on a rock nearby. The dragonfly asked, "Why the long face?" its wings catching the light. The dragonfly pointed at a line of rocks. "Those stepping stones might help if you're patient. One step at a time, friend." Oliver nodded, took a deep breath, and stepped onto the first rock. It was slippery, and his footing wavered, but he refused to retreat. Slowly, deliberately, he crossed the stream, reaching the other side with a triumphant sigh. As night fell, the forest became a maze of shadows. Oliver grew tired and uneasy, but he pressed on. Along the way, he encountered a family of fireflies that lit his path with their gentle glow. They guided him through a maze of brambles and low-hanging branches, reminding him that even in the darkest moments, there was light to be found. After days of slow, determined travel, Oliver finally spotted a familiar landmark, a gnarled old tree with roots that twisted like ribbons. Oliver finally spotted a familiar landmark, a gnarled old tree with roots that twisted like ribbons. His heart soared, home was near. When Oliver finally emerged into his clearing, he stopped and gazed back at where he had come from. The forest was no longer frightening. It had been a teacher, full of trials, yes, but also allies and lessons. Oliver returned home not just as a tortoise that wandered too far, but as a tortoise who had discovered the strength of his persistence. And so he tucked into his shell for a peaceful rest, dreaming of the forest he once feared, a place that now felt like part of his home too.